Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and here we are talking about, actually no wait, I'm not going to start like that. I'm going to start like this. I'm going to go, is there anything in my face? Alright, okay, here we are. You probably know from the title what we're going to do today, this evening, whatever time it is in your area that you're watching this. And I got to say, I'm at my desk at the moment. I'm back at my desk. Got a bit of a green screen, which is a black screen, and I'm not using it, and I'm not going to use it, not this time, not until I get the hang of it. But I gotta say, my desk smells like my uncle's, an amalgamation of all of my uncles throughout the years put together, because, and there's a good reason for this, because I have got 14, and that's 8. But you get the idea. There's a bit more than that. 14 vintage fragrances that I've put on tester strips. The smell of these is just wafting up. Put them on my laptop for some reason, and that's heating up, and that's making my whole desk and my laptop smell like all of my uncles. And I'm going to go through them. I'm going to tell you all about them. Some of these, actually quite a few of these I haven't actually smelled, and these samples, I'm so happy that they're here. I'm going to kick off. I'm going to kick off because we're in a bit of a hurry, because there's 14, and I don't want to waffle on about crap for too long. So let's kick off with the first one, which strangely enough and surprisingly to many of you who are regular watchers, if you are regular watchers, hello, it's been a while since I've done a video. If you're not a regular watcher, it's the first time you're stopping by, then don't subscribe just yet. Give it a chance. Watch a few of my videos. If you like that kind of stuff, then you decide whether or not you're going to subscribe. I don't tell you what to do, but I would appreciate it. Anyway, the first one I've got, and all of these I have to caveat these and say they're not full bottles. I didn't go nuts. They're not full bottles. They're all like sort of tiny sort of samples like this. And the first one I've got is from Caron. It is Pour un Homme de Caron. Love that focus. That is good. And I'm going to do a little bit of an unboxing on each one of these because they're actually quite neat. They're actually quite neat in that, like, look at this one. It comes with this little tray that it sits in. It's cool, isn't it? This little guy. Okay, and that's what the bottle looks like there. There you go. And that's a miniature of the actual bottle itself. If I smell it from there, it really doesn't give me much. But as I said, I dabbed a bit of it onto a tester strip like this. And it started off with like a whole bunch of sort of prickly lavender, and then it turned out to be my granddad. This, for some reason, reminds me of my granddad and the house in the country where the farm was, because he was a farmer. That's where he was, and that house smelled like this. And I'm assuming it's because he used to use this and put it on his clothes and put the clothes in the wardrobe or wherever he kept them, and it would smell like this, and it's really much like a vanilla musk kind of combination, but really old school. This has really old school vibes to it, and there's no surprise there, because this Pour un Homme de Caron was actually launched in 1934. Ernest Deltroff. Do you know him? I don't, and I don't think you do either. He was the perfumer. Was, I say, because there's not much chance that he's still around. That's the first one, Pour un Homme de Caron. I'll go through these. I'm actually going to be quite OCD about this and put them all back in their boxes, because that's where I want them, back in their boxes. The lotion in the basket, you put the fragrance in the boxes. This second one I have smelled, and I went through an entire bottle of it, and it was my gateway fragrance into the fougere world. Now, I say this because it probably came at like a crossroads in my life, where I was getting a little bit older. There was a few more grays showing up. There was a few less hairs showing up, and this is the one. This is the one that actually got me into it. This is Azzaro Pour Homme. So it was this one, and at the same time I bought Santos de Cartier Concentré. Both of these really became my gateway drug into the fougere world, whereas before then I really only always considered that type of scent profile to be associated with older guys, my uncles for example, and other older gentlemen. Here's the unboxing of this one. I'll whip it out like this, and like I said, I've smelled this before, but this is a vintage, and it's a vintage because of the way the emblem looks on the box. Right, it's a vintage because of that, number one. And number two is because of the short ingredients list on the back here, which only has 3, right? 3 ingredients on that list. And the bottle actually comes like this. It's like snug in this little container, so it doesn't wobble about. And I think that's quite thoughtful. And it is like so. There you go. Delicious. And one of the things that actually stood out when I was wearing this was that anise that's in the opening. It's quite pungent, it's quite strong, and I love anise. It's one of my favorite sort of smells. One of my favorite drinks is made of anise. Unfortunately, it's not this drink, which is made of coffee beans. We will edit this out in post. I shall put him back in his box, because we like boxes. Like, the reason I'm not actually dabbing them on right now is because I dabbed them on hours ago so that I can actually smell the base notes, because all of these are quite heavy up the top and they're quite abrasive up top because they're all similar types of scents. And so I wanted to really, really understand. And of course, on a tester strip, I find that the top notes are more pronounced than they are on skin, especially on my skin, and that I need to put them on. If I'm going to put them on a tester strip, I need to put them on, come back to them a few hours later. That's what I've done now with all of the tester strips that are here. I've marked them with English writing so that it is clear here that this is Azzaro for Homme. Smelling that now, it's become a little bit soapier in the dry down. That anise has sort of toned itself down, and a lot of people get lavender, and it is lavender, but it's not the same kind of lavender that was in the Caron before this. So that was a bit more like, like lavender that you just freshly pick out, and it's really almost spicy. It goes right up your nose kind of thing. This, however, does not do that. The lavender is a bit more smoother in here. But when it dries down, you got that oak moss and leather in the base. And the creaminess from the sandalwood just barely poking its head. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Flew through a bottle of this. It was way too easy to wear. And I remember the dry down was really good. And it was not a vintage bottle, that one. And this one, I imagine if I do wear it on my skin, it would probably be better. I'm assuming. I haven't actually worn any of these on my skin except four of them. But those are ones that I've had before. Moving on to the next one, which is this one here. Oh my God. This is another Azzaro, but this is Chrome. So this is Chrome by Azzaro. This, I think, came out in 1996, the year I graduated from high school, as a matter of fact, and class of 96. And this, also in snug sort of little housing that it's got here so that the bottle doesn't wobble around. And the bottle itself on this one is a miniature version of the actual bottle that is currently, I think it's still in production. That's the sort of chrome looking plate on the top. And come out. There you go. Ooh, that is amazing. That takes me way back, because I had a bottle of this in, like, I think 1998 or 2000 or something like that. I had a bottle of this. I went through a bottle of this, and I remember it. I remember it so well. It's really, really, when I put it on the tester strip, it really took me back in time. And this, however, is not a vintage version because I looked it up. What does it say on the back here? Fresh, vibrant, authentic chrome reflections of men. Chrome. I looked it up. This is only from like 2021, and it still smelled great. It still smelled very, very chromish from what I remember. It really, really just took me right back into time. Now, Chrome has had like a ton of flankers over the decades. However, that one is the original citrus aromatic, it says. And the thing that really gives it its kick, along with the bergamot and the lemon in the opening, is that rosemary and how they've treated that. It also just dries down to quite a nice, it's almost like aquatic, but there's no aquatic notes listed in it. I always thought it had a bit of an aquatic element, but there's not there. It says musk and oak moss and cedar and sandalwood, but no, there's some aquatic element in here that I get, and it's a spicy aquatic. That's what I would put it as. Like it was a citrus up the top, but then it's a spicy aquatic in the base. Still nice. And you know what? This is an absolute cheapie that I don't think anyone talks about, because it's one of those things. It's like almost like a staple good that it's just been around so long. It's so ubiquitous. It's so cheap, and I don't know if it's actually, like, looking at the note listing, I don't think it would have been affected by too many of the reformulation and the IFRA regulations that were apparent. So Azzaro Chrome, that's the third one. That's number 3. So far of the 3, the Caron is the only one that I haven't actually smelled before. So that one, well, actually no, that's wrong, because I had smelled that before. I said it was my granddad's scent. So all of them I've smelled before. This 4th one, however, was the first time I smelled it. And, well, animalics are not my thing. And I thought, wow, this is so animalic, and I wanted to check the note listing, and there's no animalic notes listed. However, all the comments, like a lot of the comments, stated animalic elements in this fragrance, and the fragrance I'm talking about is none other than